Today we're going to be learning how to make goose down feathered pillows. Now, of course, you'll have to have your own goose feathers. I guess you can buy them, but I'm not even sure who you would buy them from. These feathers come from exactly the bird itself, so I know exactly where they come from because my kids and we have all plucked these birds years and years ago. We put them all into a bin, and I have made my own pillows in my house from this ticking cloth. So I know it works, and I'm going to show you how I did it. And now our ticking cloth, this ticking cloth, exactly how it sounds, T-I-C-K-I-N-G, ticking cloth, is different from regular cotton cloth. So please do not go out and get regular cotton. It's not going to work. The feathers will push through the cotton, and you'll have a whole mess of feathers in the morning when you're sleeping on your pillow. So you want to get ticking cloth. This is a lot denser. It doesn't have hardly any like airflow through it, basically. But you can feel it. It feels a lot different. It's almost like denim, kind of, in a way. It's kind of like it got that dense feel to it. So this will help prevent the pin feathers from poking through. So you want to get some ticking cloth from online. Most stores don't really carry ticking cloth, so you'll have to go online and get it. I can't remember where I got this from, but anyway, I've got my sewing machine already set up. And if you're interested in learning how to sew, I'll probably produce a video on how to get your sewing machine all set up and ready to go for sewing. It's their machines are so easy now to get everything started to sew. It's ridiculous, but I'm going to show you how to do that in a different video. Right now I'm just going to be showing you how to put the pillows together and what we need to do. So I'll be right back. Today we are going to start making our goose down feathered pillows. You can put whatever material you want in them, but I'm just going to show you how to make the pillows, and I'm going to be stuffing them with the goose down feathers, and I will show you how to clean them up to be able to put them into the pillows. So right now I've got my ticking cloth, and I think I made a video previously saying that, that I was going to be making these. And when I got this cloth a long time ago, actually, because I used this cloth already and made a whole bunch of pillows, and now I have this excess ticking cloth. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and make more pillows and sell them at the market, hopefully. When you got bills to pay, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, the rest of this cloth that I had. Now the cloth came in I have two bundles here. As you can see, like, it's two bundles of this. So what I did was I just put, not two bundles, but I mean, it's one complete thing, but it was already folded. So I'm going to leave it at the fold. And I just put the two folds together. And then I pinned it. I'm going to have to redo that. I messed it up. And anyway, put the two folds together. And I've already got some cut up here that I did earlier. It was a lot. So I think I've got maybe 4 pillows out of that one that I'm going to be making. And I've probably still got another 4 pillows out of this. So let me just do this right. Put the halves together, lay it out on the table. And as I was cutting, I went ahead and pinned these seams together, or these sides together, so I wouldn't lose that nice cutting edge. But when I get down here, let's see. All right. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with this material, but I'm going to just smooth it out, make sure it's nice and flat. You don't have to iron it, right? So don't worry about that. You don't need to iron it. But what we're going to do is right now get it nice and together. Okay, so we've done that. Now I'm making a standard pillow. You can look online and see how, whatever kind of size pillow you want, which is, you have a standard, and then you have a whatever king, queen king, usually. What I'm going to do is usually it's 20 by 28. So 20 by 28. So what I'm going to do is 28 is how long I want my pillow to be. So it'll be 28. And then because I'm going to be sewing it, I'm going to do a 1/4 inch on each side as I'm doing it. So I'm just going to do, so it'll be a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here that I'm going to be sewing. So I want to do a 1/2 inch more. So I'm just going to do 28 and a half. And then I'm going to use my chalk here that I've got. And I'm just going to mark it with my chalk. I found that chalk is very easy and it's very inexpensive, of course. I'm all about the cost. So I'm just going to keep marking it up. I'm just going to go to the middle here. Place that to the corner, 28 and a half. Mark it here. All right. And I'm going to go under this corner here because I hate that when I mark it right on the corner. It just kind of sucks. So go a little bit under. And then you're going to go 20 inches here, but because I want this seam is going to be a 1/4 here. So I'm only doing one seam, but I am going to go ahead and do 20 and 20 and a half. So I'll do 1/2 inch on this one. 20 and a half, just like I did. Go to the middle, mark it. 20 and a half. I could have done 20 and a 1/4, that's okay. I'm going to do 20 and a half. And up here, right where we get marked this, I'm going to do 20 and a half all the way up here. And 20 and a half. So it's going to come up to here. Alright. And then I've got my little ruler. This old ruler, man. All my stuff is really old. Man, maybe it's a Westcott ruler. This thing is so old. And I'm just going to follow it. Follow my lines. Make sure my ruler's marks up to my cloth here. And when you do a once you do chalk, well, I've got charcoal on my mind, but you just kind of have to move it to where it's nice and it all gets to be straight here because it's bowing up against the ruler, so you kind of have to watch how you move it. My chalk doesn't really like me, so I have to do it on the sides that it likes to work right properly. I don't know why, but gotta find that one spot that makes it work. Seems like it gets dry or something. Anyway, I'm gonna mark it, and then we're gonna cut it. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna mark it. Well, I'll mark it first, and then I'm gonna actually pin it so it stays. No bark. No barking. Oh, there you go. Now it wants to work. We'll see. Now you want to work for me? There we go. That's how it's supposed to work. Nice and easy. Since I've already got this side cut, scissors, pins. Okay. just going to pin around the corners. One here, one in the middle, one in the corner. Keep it nice. One in the middle here. There we go. So one pin, one pin, one pin, 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 pin. They're all pinned. And also, I'm going to go ahead and pin this excess piece here, this next piece. I'm going to go ahead and pin it together so I don't lose it. It doesn't fall on me and it's all nice and together. So, you'll see where it goes up here, so just pin it there. Give you some room for the next piece that you're going to mark. So it doesn't get messed up with the ruler. The ruler will block it. It's not going to be a pain in the butt. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this. If you got good scissors, you'll be able to cut through those 4 layers. So make sure you buy. You're going to have to spend money, yes, good money on a good pair of scissors. I'm sorry to say, you can't really get through. You can't really buy cheap scissors. They get dull really fast. So, and then they only go through so much material, so you don't want to do that. You want some good scissors that's going to get you through. So do invest in that. And Walmart sells really good pair of scissors, so you don't have to get too fancy, but just know that you really need to, take the time to get a really good pair of scissors. It's moving on me. And these pieces you want to keep because ticking cloth is like the perfect material that if you've got holes in jeans, a coat, something that you will need to put a piece of backing on, basically where that hole is, you just put it behind the hole and you use this. This is perfect material for that. Save those if you need to. You can use them for rugs. There's all kind of purpose that you can use ticking cloth for those little pieces. So, I'm not saying save everything, but if you're, frugal, if you're frugal like me, you want to keep as much as you can. You don't want to keep everything because it would be too much. But, okay, so this is another 2 pillows, so 2, 4, 6 pillows right now. This will be my 8 pillows I've got here. And then whatever I have left, I'll usually, you can make all kinds of stuff with that too. You can make cooling pads. That works out really well, like a rice pack. And maybe I'll make a video about how to do a rice pack, because rice packs are really cool. If you don't have, let's say you don't have ice, and those ice packs are really, they get wet, they bleed through. I'll have to make a video about that. And maybe I'll do that with my ticking cloth, because this is like the perfect material to do that with. It's perfect. If you don't have plastics, but they're just awesome. A rice pack works wonders. And let's see, let's just do that whole step again. And then when I'm finished, we can start the sewing process. So I already have my sewing machine set up, which I said in the other video. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut up, and we'll see you in the next video. Okay, we're back. I went ahead and cut those up. Now I'm just going to take 2 of these sheets, because I'm going to take them out. I'm going to pin pins out real quick. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and line them up. This is the print side I want for my pillows. This is the good side, and this is the bad side, basically the wrong side. They call it the wrong side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it. Now, if you wanted to, you could have cut this, right? You could have cut this off and then sewn it and make a complete square on it. But I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to save the thread. It's not a big deal for me. I'm just going to make sure that my this one here, so you can see what I'm doing here. Corners together. And then I'm just going to put the pins in. Trying to find the right words to what I'm trying to say. Put those pins in, get it pinned down so I can sew it, which I just need to get the corners down so it doesn't move. It doesn't move on me. These little pins, man. I know they make them like really, really small, but sometimes I prefer the longer pins. Maybe it's because I got big hands. I don't have no petite little fingers, so it makes it kind of difficult to use these little pins right here. Anyway, I just don't want it to move, so two more pins here. I'm going to do that to the other one. But this is what I'm going to do. Do it just like that. And then you're just going to take the sewing machine and you're going to go from one edge all the way around. One complete section, which is nice. I mean, it's probably the easiest thing to sew is a pillow. It's the very first project you ever have. Easiest thing to sew is pillow because it's all one direction. You keep going all the way around. So, but yep, we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna go ahead and get that one ready too, because that will have a nice little set there. But I'm gonna go ahead and sew all the way around here, and when I'm done with that, I'll be back. Okay, I'm here at my machine. I've got my cloth here, and I'm taking it right from the table over here. And what we need to do is I need to flip it. I think we did it at the table, but I'm going to make sure that I have the good side is on the inside, the bad side is on the outside. Okay, so the good picture is on the inside, the bad picture is on the outside. We're going to put the corners together, and then I'm just going to put a pin. And about a handful grab. Basically, I'm just putting both edges together, putting a pin in there. I'm going to go all the way down to my corner with the pin. Go about a handful length all the way down. That's all you need. You don't need excessive amount of pins. So, just going to do a little bit of pinning. And then I'm going to go back to my corner, pull this out, and I just want to make sure that both pieces are even, and you just want to do about a hand length apart. Make sure both even. Just going to pin that. And we're just going to work all the way down to the next corner. All right. when you got a lot of these to do, it becomes very easy because it's just a lot of repetition. So make sure my corners are together. Pin my corner. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Grab my material, make sure they're even, pin it. Just keep going all the way to the corner. Now remember, this hasn't been cut. If you did end up cutting it all the way around, then you'll have another row on the other side to pin. But I did not do that, so I only have 3 sides to pin. Okay, so I'm going to go stop there, and we'll go ahead and sew this up, starting back at the very corner that we started with. And I have my machine here. I also have a foot pedal that makes it really easy to really easy for me to set this down here and sew. So I've got it set down in here, and I'm going to, first one, I'm going to sew for a little bit, reverse it. So I've got my finger already automatically ready to reverse. So put your finger there ready to reverse before you start sewing. So here we start. Actually, I forgot about putting that push pedal all the way down. Okay. So we're going to start with that little easy foot pedal. If you're using it, push it all the way to the beginning, and then you're just going to follow that thread line up to that push pedal. Okay, keep it nice and straight as possible. Okay, so get your finger ready. We're going to start. Reverse, and then back again. There we go. Now we're going forward. And I'm just going to remove my pins as we go. So, remove the pin. So, that one's pretty close to my pedal, so I'm just going to remove it. You're just going to let that, make sure that material doesn't get stuck anywhere. So just kind of keep an eye on it. It's getting close to my pin here. Let's see, move it. I'm just going to let that material just follow through. Try not to pull on it. We're getting ready to the end here. We're going to make sure that the corners are together. Holding that down, getting ready to do the reverse again. So get all the way down to the end. Hit the reverse, come back, and then go forward. And that completes that side. I'm just going to hold my finger down, use my cutter, and there we go. All right. Take that corner pin out. This one's going to go all the way down. Same thing what we did. There we go. Get ready to reverse. Reverse. Go. Make sure that it's sewing here. And this pin's coming out. Pin's back up here. material down, get my finger ready for reverse. Reverse. There we go. Taking my corner pin. Okay. And we're going to start on this side. Now the last side that you're working on. Now if you have 4 sides, you're going to do the same thing, but on the 4th side, you're going to do the same thing what I'm going to do here. So we're going to set this down. Okay. Now if you look at that, you have a little long ways to go here, so you're going to sew from the machine all the way down to about half. Give yourself about a finger's length. From here to here, you're not going to sew. And then you're going to sew the rest. So sew here all the way. You're going to stop about the width of these 2 fingers, your thumb and your pinky. You're going to stop as wide as you can, and then you're going to start sewing again and then finish that corner. That's what we're going to do. Now that's going to let us be able to put the feathers into the pillow, and then the rest of it we're going to sew by hand. Okay, here we go. Let's finish this up. Get ready. Do the reverse here. Stop, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure our reverse first. Redo a reverse. So start, reverse, back. Okay, that's good enough. Stop that. Then put it back up here. And where I stopped, I'm going to mark it with my finger. Okay. Pinky to the forefinger here, stretch it out. So I'm going to stop about right, put my finger here to catch it, and I'm going to start right here. Down, move my pin. I'm going to finish that, get the reverse ready, start. Reverse. Again, all the way down the corner. Get the reverse ready. There we go. It's getting stuck in there. Okay, there we go. Now it's not stuck. Sometimes it gets like that. It can get stuck in there, so just be careful with your machine. Make sure it's sewing front and back. Always want to make sure you're checking that out. Okay, we're going to start again right where at the very beginning again, because this is a ticking cloth and we're going to have pin feathers in it. We really need to do another section of sewing here. So I always double my sewing when I do pillows, especially with the pin feathers. Now, the thread can break, it gets stretched. I don't know, people like to rub on it, and that thread isn't very strong. So that being said, I always like to double it. And what I mean by that is I'm going to move my petal thing over, so I have maybe another 1/4 inch right here, and so when I sew I have the regular line, but then I'm going to have another line going inside the pillow, on the inside of the pillow, not on the outside but on the inside. So right here where you've sewed, you're going to go on the inside and have another line. And that's what I'm going to do all the way around. But when I get to my corners, I'm going to do something different. So let's do this. Start, reverse, start. Get down to the corners. All right, when we get close to the corners, we're going to get really close, and we're going to stop right before the line that you made last time, and then we're going to lift our foot pedal, lift that lever up. We're going to turn it to where it matches the 1/4 inch line there. This little foot pedal, where we want to be, where we we want that sewing line to be. And then we're going to start sewing again. We're not going to do any reversing in the corners because we've already done the reversal from the first line. You don't have to do it the second time. There we begin again. Getting close to that edge, so just watch, be careful, take it easy, leave the needle in the fabric, lift the lever up, turn the fabric nice and square there. Now we begin on this side. Now this one this is the side where we have the stop at, so from here to here sewed, and we want to make sure that we stop where we stopped the last time. So we're going to go. Okay, and I'm getting closer now. My reverse is right here, and I am going to reverse it at this time. So we're going to do the reverse. Reverse. So, there we go. All right. Take that. Ooh, I just noticed. I think I'm out of thread. Yep, I am. So I am going to have to reload my bobbin. And when I do that, I'll be back to finish from this side all the way to the edge again. And don't forget to reverse it and then reverse it at the edge. All right, we'll be right back. I'm back. I went ahead and refilled my bobbin. And I will make a video on how to start sewing, so hopefully you guys will look forward to that video on how to sew or how to get your sewing machine started. But right now I'm already sewed to the first stop. Now I'm going to go all the way down to where the second stop is right here, and I'm going to lay that up there on the sewing machine, and I'm going to do my reverse. So we're going to do reverse, forward, all the way to the end. Get ready for the reverse again. Okay. Reverse. All right, so now I have 2 lines. Let's use that. Now I have... Alright, so this part here that we did not sew, you'll be able to reach your hand in there and be able to reverse it. Okay, but first, before we do that, before we reverse, I'm going to go ahead and trim this section off. All the way around we'll do a trimming, and we're probably going to have maybe just a centimeter close to the very first line. So right now you have 2 lines. You should have 2 lines on there. And we're just going to trim the edge where the 2 lines, you have 2 lines, and we're just going to trim real close, about a centimeter from that line. I'm going to do this all the way around. It's not necessary that you do that, but I like to do it. I don't know. I just do it. So it's up to you. This is optional because you should only have maybe, well, you should have 1/4 inch seam, or quarter inch from the first line or so. Is it a 1/4 inch? Something like that. A couple centimeters. Anyway, but I'm just going to cut all the way around here. Let's get all that done, cut it up, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have went ahead and trimmed all the way around, and I'm going to go back to my little hole that I have right here. This little part that we did not sew. Put my hand in there. And I'm going to go all the way to the back, and I'm going to grab both of my corners. Grab both corners, and I'm going to pull it through. And you're just going to reverse it. Okay. Reverse them all. And then when you get to the reverse part, you want to go to each corner and just put your finger into the corners, push them out. Push all the corners out as good as you can get them. There you go. And some people actually cut the little corners off, but before they reverse, but I don't do that just because this is a feather pillow, and you want to have a little bit of that corner edge stuffed in here because the pin feathers really like these corners, and they are going to push through those corners real easily. So that little extra fabric in there is fine, so leave it there. So just go ahead and on each corner and just push it out with your fingers. Just like that. Each corner. Did I miss a corner? There we go. Here's this corner. You should have 4 corners. Okay. Now this is the time, after we've done all of that, this is the time that you want to wash your fabric. Okay. I know some people be like, oh, why didn't you wash it before you cut it and did all that? There's no point, because you're going to be washing extra fabric, and you don't want to have to go through all that mess of washing it and then cutting it and then having to wash it anyway because you marked on it and blah blah blah. So you don't want to do all that. I don't want extra work. So now we can take all of our pillowcases that we made, and we're going to take them and throw them in the wash, and they should be fine. And then we're going to take them out and we're going to iron them. So I'll be back to do that. Now we have washed them. Each of them come out of the washing machine. See, it's all nice and clean. Okay, and you're going to have a little bit of these strings running off of here. So what we need to do is, I've got my iron hot, nice and hot, a little water in there for the steam. Anyway, that was for the iron. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it back inside out. Okay, so what we want to do is, when we iron it, we want to iron it nice and flat. So the only way to do that is to turn it back inside out. And the reason why we had it the other way when we washed it was because if there's anything on that fabric, you want to make sure you get that nice and clean so it's on the outside. So now I want it nice and crisp, basically, not crispy, but I want to be able to, what they call, iron it nice and flat. So the easiest way to do that, turn it inside out. Get your corners out of here. Pull your corners out. Okay. Each side, as you'll see, there's a lot of strings. So you'll want to trim those strings up. I'm just trying to get this. Shh, quiet. I want to get this. Hey, I said quiet. I got farm hands out here on the farm making my dog bark. But anyway, got all these little pieces off of here that come loose. Oh, let's see. Just doing this. Okay, we're going to straighten it up a little bit. And right, if you can see it too well, but right here is the opening. This is where we can put our hand in here, right here. Want to make sure that it stays nice and flat. And see how crumpled up it kind of is, kind of a little bit crumpled. We're just going to flatten it out with that iron. So this side here is where my fold was. I'm just going to get that as straight as I can get it with the corners. And I'm just going to put my iron down. Now my iron's on the highest setting. This is cotton. And my iron, everybody's iron is different. And back in the days, you didn't really have those settings. So it was do it while you can. Well, it's either warm or hot. That's all you get. So, but I've got my ironing board now. I'm getting so sophisticated that my iron actually shuts off on me while I'm ironing, because it'll sit down for too long on something, then it automatically turns off, which, you know, is a good thing when you have kids, that it automatically shuts off. But now that I'm older, it's kind of annoying, because as I'm working, it'll shut off. So it kind of gets annoying. And of course, my cord gets all bumbled up. Okay, so now we're down here at this little corner piece, and I want to just flatten it as good as I can, and then iron it nice and flat. Nice and flat. Okay, I'm just going to take that all the way down to the edge. Get that nice. And there might be a little bubble down there, but that's okay. You might have a little gathering on there. Kind of work its way out of there. There you go. Get it to be flat as you're ironing. It's quite all right. It's not going to matter. There we go. Now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just going to get it to be flat. If I can't, I'm going to flip it this way. I'm going to get it flat. There we go. And I can iron. Get it nice and pretty. There we go. And maybe in another video I'll show you guys how to actually iron a shirt for those of you that don't know how to iron. I know there's a lot of people that don't know how to iron, so they take their stuff in and get it ironed. But honestly, the amount you guys pay to do that, it really isn't worth doing it. I mean, I honestly, well, if you hate ironing, I guess. My pet peeve is doing the dishes. I do the dishes since I could remember, before I could even stand next to the sink. I was up doing the dishes on a chair, putting dishes away because I couldn't reach the sink. So I got the chore to do the dishes. And I don't know, I guess that's why, that's probably the thing that I don't like the most, is doing the dishes. But I don't mind cooking to a certain extent. But I gotta have a reprieve. You know, I don't want to cook every day. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that agree with me. But then again, I know a lot of people that don't cook. So, and it's hard to actually try to cook because it's something that they're probably not even comfortable with, being in the kitchen. So, but we had a good sized family and we needed to have food on the table, and it just was not feasible to go out to dinner all the time. That's for sure. Shh. That's my trash man. Gotta bark at the trash man. So I apologize for the barking. But see, I get those sides up and all the trimming done. Both sides. If there's a little bit of stragglies in there, it's okay. Nobody's going to see this part anyway because it's going to be tucked, because we're going to reverse it back. And then I'm going to seal that little side there that we have, that opening. Get it nice and crispy. See what I'm talking about. You find that corner that I had where the hole is, or the opening, I should say. It's not a hole, it's an opening. There's my opening. Opening's right here. So I'm going to reverse it again. Now, this is the last time I'm going to mess with that. So I'm going to take all of this nice and gently. You don't want to be pulling on it too hard. Gentle about it. Pull the stuff through gently. Alright, anything you guys want to do, it takes a little bit of patience. And then when you've done them a couple of times, you kind of do it by memory, so it becomes even faster. And you don't really realize how faster you can do it after you've done a few times. So I'm sure, let's see, I'm doing 8 of these, so for the market. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to have this is going to become memory bank here. Because I haven't done them in a while. When I did them for my household, I haven't done them in quite some time. So, but let's see. Okay, so now I've got it gone back out, and if you can see this corner here, I'm gonna move it over here. As you can see, this opening that I've got here. So what I want to do is I want to kind of make it to where the seams are all up there. And I'm going to hold this down with my fingers so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to fold these in so that the folded part is on the inside and the seam runs along with the rest of. So it's nice and it looks just like it should. It looks just like part of it. And I'm just going to take my iron and press that down real good. So it makes it nice and straight. And that's going to be really easy now when I want to go and sew the rest of it by hand, because I'll have a nice little guide. See now, look how nice and sharp that is. Now I have a little guide that I can sew it and you won't even see it. And I'm going to show you guys how to sew so you don't even see it. So it's going to be invisible. It's an invisible seam. It's what they call it. And I'm going to show you that in a minute here. But I'm going to go ahead and iron. Do a pretty quick little iron here. See how much more easier that is when you do the reverse first? It makes this so much easier. You just give a little bit of touch up. It's really nice, neat. And then we're going to go into filling the pillows up. Got to fill the pillows up before we sew that invisible seam. So I've got my feathers and everything washing up and drying. And I'm going to go step outside and fill up these pillows outside, because you don't want to do it in your house because you'll get these little feathers flying everywhere. So when I get these filled up, I will be back. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys what the pillowcases that I do use to put the feathers in. So what you want to get is a body pillow made with the suede, because the suede is a lot denser. It doesn't have a lot of air gaps in it. You will get a little bit of dowel coming out, not very much, not to worry about your machine. So what you want to do is you want to double it. So you want to get two suede pillows. So you're going to double it up, and then you're going to insert all your feathers in there, and then you're going to tie it up, and you're also going to use a hair tie at the very end. So let me show you what I'm talking about. See if I can do this. Okay, so here I have the top of it. See how long it is? So you want to fill it up like halfway. This is all feathers, and what you're going to do is you're going to twist it so you can make a knot, and then you're going to pull it through, get it really tight, as tight as you can possibly get it, and then you're going to take your hair tie, a really strong hair tie, and you're just going to tie up the hair tie. Just in case the knot comes loose, you won't lose the feathers. So you want to make sure that that is tight in there. Otherwise, you still have a tendency to lose the feathers, because this will get wet, and when it gets wet, it's easy and it kind of slides a little bit. So just put the hair tie in there just in case. So make sure you put the hair tie in. Then when they're all washed, you're going to stick them in the dryer the same way. Keep everything the same. Dry it. It's probably going to take, I don't know, 4 or 5 cycles to get it back to being as bulky as this again, because once it's wet, it's going to shrink. So you want to get it nice and dry, and then you're able to stuff your pillows. Go ahead and get our thread through our needle, just like that, and we're going to pull it through. Okay, so get that through there, and we're going to take the ends, and I'm going to be doubling this thread. So because this is ticking cloth, and I need this to be really strong so that it does not want to come out, does not want to break. I don't know, sometimes these threads that you get from the store, I think I bought this thread from Walmart. But I'm going to show you guys. Here's the ends. I put the ends together, and I'm just going to lick my finger, get a little bit wet, wrap it around, And I'm just gonna spin it off my finger, and I'm gonna hold it and then pull it into a nice little knot. I don't know if you can see that nice little knot I got. And then go ahead and just trim that up close as you can get. We're going to hold the knot, and we're just going to pull all the way down. I'm going to bring that needle all the way down to the front. There you go. So it's nice and straight. Okay, and then we have our thread ready to go with our little knot at the very bottom. So we got our knot. We got it nice and straight on the needle, and right straight through. So this will make our double thread. Okay, now that we got our double thread needle, I'm going to take the first pin off of here, and if you can see, I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. You can see the dowel in there. You see where this part ends? We're going to stick that needle right up into the crease that we made, and then we're going to pull all the way through, and you'll see we have the little knot at the very end in there. The little knot's right there. See, so you can see it very well. There's your knot. Just going to pull it through, and we call this stitch is just going to be an invisible stitch. So we have it here. Now we're going to do the same. We're going to make a straight line going all the way across. We're just going to do a little bit of section. Remember, this is going to be like a sewing machine, so you're going to be doing a little bit at a time. Okay, so about right there. I'm going to pull that out. Nice and straight. And that's going to be the starter. We're just going to keep going all the way across. We're going to go from one, make a straight line. Let's see that, make a straight line. So about right here. And you're only going to do a little portion. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and go across. Do a little portion. And I'm going to pull that all the way through. And I'm going to hold my end. I'm going to get my end, the section off, and I'm just going to hold it with my hand as I bring it through and pull it through. Make sure it's nice and tight there. Okay, I'm going to do it again. So hold it with my hand. You can use it across your fingers if you like. See how I just put it across my fingers and I held it with that. Across your fingers, hold it. Get your line up, make a straight line. So you're going to hold that. Put a little bit in there. Pull a little bit. Now you're going to make a line where you were. You're going to do a little bit there. And you're just going to hold it. Hold the needle. Hold your thread. And you're going to come straight out. There you go. Nice and easy. Do it again for you guys. So hold that there. Put it across my finger. Hold it with my hand. Keep it nice. Make a straight line. A little bit of a section. Give a little bit. And make another line. Give a little bit. And then pull, holding that through. And hold your thread so it stays, so it doesn't get all, you don't want to get any knots. That's the part you don't want. You don't want the knots. So as you can see, this is becoming seamless. So you will no longer see anything. It's all being covered. And that's what you call invisible, an invisible stitch. So you're just making, basically, you're just going to be making these straight little lines. That's it. It becomes an invisible stitch. Okay, we were down to the end here, as you can see. We've got a little bit left to go, so this is where we're going to stop here, and then we'll go back, loop it through again, and I'll show you how to do that. So again, we're going to close it up with our hand, hold it there, wrap our finger with our, holding it with our finger, make that straight line, a little bit of a section, straight line again, and a little bit of that section, and then we're going to pull our needle through, holding our thread so it stays nice and tight, no gaps. We're just going to nicely just tug it just a little bit. I'm just going to keep repeating that all the way to the end, holding it with my finger so I can get a straight line. Straight line again. I know I got my air conditioners running. I'm just going to keep pulling it nice and tight. And this is going to take a while, so, and you just got to make sure that you don't go get anything stuck in there. Sometimes you pull out some of that dowel and it gets stuck in your string, and it can make it kind of difficult for you to pull it through, so just make sure that it's nice and clean. And see how that got bumbled up here? Just hold it where it's nice and even, and then take it and pull it. Pull your thread. There you go, because you don't want to get a gap in there. There we go. And always make sure your string is not twisted, because once you get it twisted up in there, it makes it very difficult to pull through. So see how we didn't get on. We got the little line here again. Let's pull on this one. Just a little here. Just like the sewing machine. Just think of the sewing machine, how much, you know, they don't have too much of a gap in between those. So you want to make sure you get it nice and even gap here. Nice and even line. Pull it nice and straight. Dink. Like how that looks. Looks really, really nice. Now we're getting up to the corner here. Here's your corner. We're going to go over this little bump right here. We're going to go over that. This, I don't know what that's from. It's probably the cloth itself or the end piece. I'm going to tuck it down in there a little bit. It's probably what I want you to do. Go on this side. Go a little piece. And make that straight line across. And then I'm going to do a little piece. Pull it through. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to turn this whole thing around once I get done, because I'm left-handed, so I want to go ahead and put my piece here. And then we're going to pull that through. And we're turning it around. And then I'm going to turn my pillow all the way around. All the way back around. Okay. And this is going to reinforce it as well. So it may seem excessive, but that's okay. We're going to take our nice hem. See how invisible that is? So we're just going to take this where this thread is, and we're going to put the needle back down through the thread, and we're going to keep it lined up with the little and we're going to move it right back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. See how I'm doing that? I'm not trying to show my needle work. I'm just going to pushing the cloth through the needle, and I'm going to take the needle right in the middle and come up on that seam. And I'm just going to pull it right through. Okay? We're going to start again. I'm going to go right where that yarn was. And I'm just going to wiggle it back and forth across the seam, picking up a little bit from the left, a little bit from the right on that seam, and then coming right back through that seam. Holding my thread nice and tight. We're going to go all the way to the beginning again, and this is going to be a lot faster because we're just moving it right through. Just picking up little sides pieces. Getting it in that seam. Pull it through. And I think I started like right here. I think that's where I stopped. So it's a little bit different. You can't really tell too much, but that's where you started, or I started. So I've got a little bit more to go, and then I'm going to show you how to tie it off. So stay right in there. Wiggle it through to then find the seam. Then you pull it through. Just a little bit more. So it's about right here. Then we'll stop. So we've got just a little bit of wiggling to do. Pull it up through the seam. There you go. Got that seam. Alright. Don't pull it too tight because it'll bunch up. So what you want to do is stretch it out. Make sure it's loose, not too tight. Make sure that seam is nice and pretty. See all of that? Okay, so now we're down at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up a stitch. So I don't know if you can see this, but in here you'll have a stitch somewhere, and you'll see it. You'll see this little stitch. So I just picked it up. I have it on my needle. So you pick up that stitch. You're just going to hold this, and you're going to wrap your end yarn all 1, 2, 3 over the needle. Now you're going to hold the needle and that thread, and you're going to pull it through till you got the whole thing, and then we're going to see what we've got. Okay, see what we've got. We've got a nice little knot right here. Now that we have our knot, we're going to go right back where we were behind it. Right behind it in the seam. And we're going to do the wiggle, 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 wiggle. And we're going to come up right in the seam again. Okay. And we're going to pull. Go all the way to there till you got the knot. You see that knot? And then you're going to pull that string, and you're going to pop it. Go pop. And then it'll go right down into the seam. Now you cannot see it. It's in there. It's invisible. That little knot's going to hold it, and then you're just going to cut this thread right off. So we'll just take our scissors, and we'll just trim that off. There you go. You cannot tell. Nice and pretty seam. That's the invisible stitch. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, I'm back. Here is the pillow with all of them has been sewn up except for this little section from here to here, and we're going to hand sew that, and we're going to do what's called an invisible stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do that, how to close this up and make it really nice invisible stitch, and you can't even tell that it's been stitched up by hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my needle and thread ready, and I'm going to do a double thread, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And I think the double thread is much stronger than a regular, just using one thread. I'm going to double it and make two. So I'm going to go to the length of my arm. I'm just pulling out to the end of my arm, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I'm hoping I can get this done right here on using this camera. I'm not too savvy with trying to do it with the camera there too, so we'll just see if I can get it threaded. So I'm just going to push it through, and then pull it, so we've got the end through the needle. So I've got it on my needle, and I'm going to put both ends together. So I'm going to find the other end, and I'm going to grab both ends, and I'm going to hold both ends together, let my needle drop because it's on the thread, and I'm going to pull my needle all the way through here. Keep pulling it all the way to the end. Hopefully I don't get a knot in there when I'm trying to do this. We don't need any knots. Sometimes you get these little extra hairs, creates a knot. Okay, so I've got my end piece here, and I'm just gonna lick my fingers a little bit, put it around there, wrap it around once, and I'm just gonna roll it off my finger, and I'm gonna hold the top of the thread and I'm gonna pull it with my left hand. There you go. We're just gonna pull it, and you can feel the knot. There's a little knot there. I'm gonna do it again. It's a little knot. I'm just gonna hold it with my finger so I can get a bigger knot. There's a bigger knot. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a knot that's gonna stop in the fabric. And then I'm gonna take my scissors, I'm gonna cut off this little end. And so I've got this little bitty knot. That's what I want. And I've got my needle. And now I'm just going to drop it again, straighten everything out, make sure it's nice and straight. See how I got this all cocked up in here? Let's see. I don't know if it just did that just to do that to me today, because I'm trying to film, I think. I think I actually knotted it up. I did. I got this little knot in there, and that's not going to go through this fabric very well. And that's going to really stink. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm pretty sure I can't get that out. So I'm going to have to do it all over again. Okay, I've got my knot. And I've got my double strings, this 2 strings on this needle. You can see 2 strings on the needle. Okay, now I'm going to take my first pin out. Doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. Just if you're right-handed, you're going on one side. If you're left-handed, you're going on the other side. So I'm going to start from left-handed. So I'm going to find the end. Here's my end, and I'm going to put my needle right here at the end, and I want to put it in the corner, and I'm going to push up on it. So I'm going to stick it right there, and I'm going to pull it through, and I'm going to be able to see my knot here. My knot is down in here in the dowel. It's right here. As you can see, this little thing sticking out, that's my little string. Anyway, so I'm going to hold it with my hands, keep it together. I'm going to stretch this thread across my finger and hold it with my middle finger, so it goes across my pointer finger, and hold it down with my middle finger. And you can see it's going to make a straight line here. I'm just going to make a straight line. I'll show you here. This is going to be our straight line. So I'm going to put the needle here, pull this up, pull just a little bit. Okay, we're going to pull it through and then hold our string, make it nice and straight. So now we've got it nice and set. That's how we want. That's the set. So now I'm going to put it across my finger, hold it with my middle finger. Nice and straight here. Straight line. This is where I want to start. And I'm going to hold it and pull it through. Hold it. See the straight line? Go a little bit. That's all you want, just a little bit. Hold the string, pull it through. Hold your fabric. Cross, hold it with my finger. Just makes it easier. Pull it through. Hold the fabric. Straight line. Just a little bit. Pull it through. Okay, you want to make sure that it's nice and tight. See? Not too tight where it's bunching, just enough. And you have an invisible seam right here. That's what we started doing. Now, if you get a little adventurous and you don't want to do it, how do I put that? You want to do it a little bit faster, but you got to be careful when you do it faster, okay? So if you're not a real, comfortable with that, just keep doing what I was doing. But here I'm just going to do a little bit faster. I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to put my finger across there and hold it. And then I'm going to make my straight line. Little section. A little bit. Am I right here? And a little bit. And then I'm going to pull it through. So I've caused this little string gap. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going to fix that. There we go. There we go. Just make sure you keep that string from twisting up. You don't want to twist. Okay, we're going to do it again. We're going to hold the fabric, keep the string out of our way. Straight line, grab a little bit. Go a little bit, a little bit more, and then hold it and pull. It'll keep everything nice and tight. And if you by chance get something like that where it bubbles up a little bit, you just take it with your nail or finger and just easily go across and pull it with your fingernail. And then the thread will be nice and tight again. But always make sure you go all the way to your needle and keep it from twisting. So we're going to just keep doing that all the way to the end. And when I get to the end, I'll be right back. Okay, we're down to the very end here. As you can see, not very much to do. But I'm just going to close that with my fingers, hold it there, wrap the string around my finger once again, making a straight line, holding it there, straight line, and there, there, and there. And then I'm just going to pull that through, holding my string together, making sure that it's nice and tight. I think I got a little string at the end right down there that needs to go. One of my strings are not. There we go. Okay. Just a little bit more. Okay. Almost to the end. It says here's my end. As you can see, here's the gap. So what I'm going to do when I get down to the end, I'm just going to go a little bit over with it, my last string, and then we'll turn this around and then we'll do another. We're going to go all the way back. So once we get down there, it shouldn't take too long. Hold it there. Straight line. Careful of that dowel, it's going to get in the way. Right there. See how that likes to get stuck in there? Make sure you don't get no knots. Should pull nice and straight. There we go. We're almost to the end. Piece of hair in the way here. Okay. So we go here. Here. Almost there. Okay. I don't want to end up, because I'm left-handed, so I'm going to be turning this around and starting again. So here, pulling that through. Now that we're here, and I'm just going to do this last one. So I'm going to take this with my right hand, and I'm just going to go make this last stand here. Last stand. And then we're just going to turn it around. Turn the whole pillow around. To where this is on my left side again. We're going to go all the way back through all of this. And how do we do that? We're going to take wherever we're left off, and I'm going to stick it right back down there. It's very close to the hole in the center, and I'm just going to wiggle back and forth, my needle back and forth, and just pick up on the left side and the right side, and then I'm going to push through to the seam. Once I get it through the seam, I'm just going to pull it nice and straight. Make sure it's not too tight. Once again, you're going to go where the string is, push it down, and you're going to just do a wiggle from left to right, pushing that needle through there. Then you're going to find the seam, push the needle through, and pull. This is going to go much faster. So, find the seam. Needle back down where you had it, back into the seam, wiggle it through the seam, make your needle come up into the seam, pull that string. We're just going to go all the way to the end, just keep doing it all the way to the end. I know you can see me picking this up. Pulling it full through the seam. My needle's really short, so I think I stopped about right here, so we're almost there. Go back. Right in the center. Okay, almost there. All I'm doing is making sure that this seam does not come apart, especially with all of them pin feathers that you got in there. You want to make sure that this is nice and tight in there so it doesn't come out, because this part we don't have the double, when we sewed it we don't have the double lines in there from the sewing machine, so we're definitely gonna have to make sure that this stays done. Okay, I've reached to the end. This is the sewed in seam, and this part is where I sewed, and you can't really tell too much of the difference there. Anyway, so what you're going to do now is you're going to pick up the stitch. So you're going to put your needle down in there, find the stitch, push your needle through, grab the end of the string, wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You don't want to hold it there. Hold the string all the way to the end. And you're going to make sure that knot is right there. Okay? Then you're going to go backwards. So you're going to go to the left side of that little string. You're going to stay in the seam. We're just going to weave again, left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. Go out to the middle. Find the middle of the seam. Push it through. Now pull the needle. Go all the way. And you can see that there, it's right. Here's a little knot. It's right here. Here's your knot. But you're going to tug on that and it's going to go invisible. There you go. Nice. It's in there now. You can't even see where it went. It's invisible. Okay, then you just go ahead and cut this string and you're done with your pillow. Well, we're all done. So I hope you learn how to make feathered pillows, and you can do this with regular pillows. You don't have to use the goose down feathers, but you can just make the pillowcases, put your foam or whatever they use for the inside the pillow, the batting or whatever, and you put that in there and you go ahead and sew it up just this way. You can use that invisible stitch for anything that you want that you don't want to see a seam in there. It just makes it really, really nice, and like I said, it's invisible. You can't even tell it's there. So, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something.